Yo, what's up, people? Today is 8/26/2022, a crazy Friday. Um, we had news at the 8:30 time mark, and then at 10 a.m. Eastern, Fed Chair Powell spoke. And did he speak? And the market moved. um, for those of you that are not used to trading during uh, pretty much speakers and all that good stuff, you can always just not trade those days. On in my case, I like to watch the market, and as you guys if you guys have been following my channel, I'm very conservative to begin with, and for those particular days, I am just extra conservative. And if I don't see something that meets my needs in my setups, then if I don't take them when it's during normal conditions, then during these times it's even more crucial. And anyways, it's always something I'm thinking in the back of my head. It's either flat or forward, and patience. Trading is a game of patience, and it's war. As how ICT has described it many times. It really is. Because if you let this thing get to you, it's very dangerous. And I'm sure if you're brand new or even a seasoned trader can get caught up in all that, you know, jargon of psychology, which it's not really jargon, it's just shit that we go through in our heads and messes up our trading. But anyways, it's just news days, news times that can really screw people up if you don't know what you're doing. And even if you do know, you might take a trade, and during this crazy news time, you might look at this as a sell, and then you get stopped out, and you're like, oh shit, I got stopped out. This Fed Chair Powell was talking. Those are things that are important to look at. But anyways, that's my little rant. Let's get started here with the euro dollar. There was almost a trading opportunity today, and just to do some top-down analysis, obviously you could see my daily. It's all crazy with a bunch of stuff here. If you, I like to keep my stuff for the whole week before I delete it, because I can already see the candles here. I mean, at least I'm used to seeing it as just a bunch of lines, horizontal lines. Although I say I like to keep my stuff as clean as possible, most of it is just previous analysis from the previous days for this particular week. As you can see, anything else just doesn't have it. It's more of analysis for the month, or etc., etc. But the thing is that with NinjaTrader, when you draw something, it'll plot in the lines here. Now, if I want to, I could always just remove it. But I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much used to it, and obviously, it's not like the candles. It's not like you can't see them. And so, anyways, at the beginning of the week, you can see from Monday, we came down in here, and this is actually a weekly. I believe ICT mentioned on Sunday midnight time. That's when you want to draw the line for the week. And Tuesday was the one that created the low. From there on, it was pretty much just buy, buy, buy. That was the bias. And on Monday and Tuesday, my bias was to definitely, actually Tuesday was to definitely buy. And so by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday, my bias was still 70% buying. Today was also pretty similar, 70% buying, 80%. Starting to get a lot better and a lot more confident in that direction. And so you can see we came up into a fair value gap on the daily. Right there. I'm actually going to color code this. There you go. And let's jump down to my 240 minute. You can see that was filled already. And that's what we were reaching for, that whole area. So the 60 minute doesn't really say much. We do have a few levels here that were broken. Sell stops were taken. Buy stops were taken. Market rallied, continued rallying all the way. and then it almost it literally got to this 50% retracement from here to here, which, by the way, I was eyeing this level right here. Now if we drop down to a 15-minute, we can see here, this is pretty much it, where I drew my Fibonacci from here to there, and the 50% came in like right in here. And so today I waited after 8:30 news, and if we look at the 5-minute, it actually looks a little bit better here. You can see I draw my lines here, I drew this line here, but once again, right, like there's nothing happening here. I like to wait for news. I don't know about you, but I would not consider this as an ICT trade, and this is what I mean. This is not an A-type setup. If you've seen my little mini course, I go over what an A-type setup is, and to me, this is not A-type setup. This is still not an A-type setup, not even on the 15-minute. As we got 1, 2, 3, you got 4 candles here closing, and then obviously there's no news event that created this move, and so there's no need to take this move. But anyways, moving forward here, this happened, and then finally you got the 8:30 news happening. So the market came down here, right? So what I would have wanted to take this trade, which, by the way, this is still valid according to ITC. If you're comfortable taking this, for me, it's not my setup. At least the one that he teaches on ICT Mentorship 2022. And I know that he goes over this many times. Let me actually remove that first. I know he goes over this, but for me, I'm just not comfortable taking that right now at my evolution as a trader. However, I'm pretty sure it can get better later down the road. But until then, I may just not even ever do that, right? Like, for what? Because sometimes, especially with news like today, the core PC price index, sometimes the market can easily, like when news came out here, the next candle can easily come straight down, which it will break this level here, right? It'll break out from here. And then what I want to see in order for me to have taken this trade would be to break out like that. So it would break this level here, right? Actually, in this case, it would have broken that level. Let me put both of those lines there. And then what? And then we'll see the market retrace back to the fair value gap right here, right? If I extend this, that's, for me, that's what I would have loved to have seen. And then that would give me the confidence to buy it here and ride it long, right? Because that's once again, we go towards the bias. But to me, that's the setup. Otherwise, to be able to take this trade, number one, it doesn't fit my risk parameters, right? Because check this out. Usually for me, I like to go for either target 1 or the highs of either, depending on where I think liquidity is gonna be at. And then obviously it looks like the market ended up going into this daily area, which was fine. But for me, target 1 is usually a -5. Now, to have taken this would have been something like this. So you get 34 points. And with the beauty of hindsight, obviously the trade worked out, right? And we can say, okay, well, our stop was right there, right below this, right? Once again, that's the beauty of hindsight. We know what already happened, right? But check this out. There's some times where the market can easily just push through a little bit more and get down into this fair value gap. And then what happens, right? You get stopped out if you have your stop here, which means the next time you do take a trade like this, you might want to move your stop down below this stop. And then what? You have a -30 stop, and then you have a 30 target. So you're pretty much at a 1-to-1 risk reward here, right? But then that next time that happens, then this move happens, and then you get stopped out here. And then you see this happen, and then you take this one. So you pretty much, in this case, I know it worked, but I'm just telling you different scenarios that can happen, different scenarios that I've seen and back tested. And just for me, for my own conservative way of trading, this is a reason why I like to wait for these setups. Because once I wait for that, it's okay for me to wait, right? It's okay for me to wait, because then if I look at if this would happen, and if I look at my my risk reward, it changes, because now, just bear with me here, my target and risk changes. Now I'm risking 25 points, right? My entry here is at 50. This is just a situation where the market ran down here. It came right back up here, retraced. Fair value gap was right here, right? For example, that's my entry at the 50%. First target, -5, or above these highs. My risk reward has changed, and just the whole confidence in the trade has changed. But do you see how different scenarios can change the way you look at things, right? And so it's very important that you keep that in mind. And so I'm not saying that you shouldn't be taking these trades. If you feel comfortable taking this trade and risking that much, risking those 15 points and then not doing anything here and waiting for this break and then seeing this develop, you can also do that, because either way, because your risk reward here is 2-to-1, you still make back the loss plus the win, right? If you're okay with that. For me, I just choose to wait for the setup that ICT teaches, which is this specific setup, and then trade with the trend, right? Trade in the direction of my bias, and that's pretty much it. Okay, but anyways, so today, obviously I didn't do anything. That pretty much concludes the video, and you can see when Powwow got on, he market rallied and it crashed pretty hard, very close to New York lows, which it actually did take out the lows of New York session right there. Extend that out, just right there. Now you can see the market starting to rally a little. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like and follow for more of these analysis videos and just my own trading challenge journey. And have a good one.